Cumberland County was the first county in North Carolina to establish a child abuse prevention plan. What can individuals do about this issue? Betsey, let me start with you. Sitting in my community, I have a sense that this is a problem. What are the opportunities for investment?
Yeah, and so when we think, sometimes we think about adverse childhood experience and think about the adversity, but the really important lever is to think about resiliency. And there is so much that we can do. So thinking about resiliency at the individual level, how is it that we can recognize someone who's maybe been in a traumatic situation, a family that is really struggling? How do we go in and support that family in that child?
So what are the signs?
So if we think about, if you're in a stressful situation and everything coming at you is a threat, that's how you're going to act, that everything coming at you is a threat. So what you'll see is people who are hyper alert, hyper responsive, coming at you. So when you start seeing that, you recognize, and when I think about, that's the trauma talking, right? So that everything that has come at them as a threat, they see everything come at them as a threat. And so you can see that high level. So the first thing you can do is recognize that maybe, and then helping that person settle and feel safe and nurtured.
So what are the community resources? I recognize this. I want to reach out and get some support for an individual or a family. To whom do I turn?
There are lots of places you can turn. Our child advocacy centers are a place of support for families. There are a lot of parenting programs available across the state. That's a really important resource that we really want to see more normalized, that we all know parenting is really hard and it's okay to ask for help. There are programs like Triple P, Incredible Years. There are Circle of Parents programs. We can help particularly really young families that have babies, make sure that they get connected to home visiting programs. There are communities across our state that have universal home visiting programs, like in Durham and Forsyth County with Family Connects. Then there are also Nurse Family Partnership is an incredible home visiting program that really helps parents from prenatal through the first couple of years of life really get the support they need to be the good parents that we need them to be.
And Elizabeth, I assume some of the first recognition happens by teachers in schools.
Absolutely.
To whom or where do those teachers turn for resources?
So there are a lot of great community partners, like Sharon mentioned, that schools are connected to and district staff can help them connect to. One of the biggest things we're working on in schools is helping them create that action plan. So beyond training, know what they can do both as an individual teacher in their classroom, giving them some tools for their toolbox, and then also school-wide some strategies and policies that they can change. But so much of it is about building relationships, and people don't think that that can be such a simple thing. We sometimes just bypass that to think about bigger policies to implement, but just thinking about how teachers can build those healthy and supportive and safe relationships so that when kids come into the building, if home is in a safe place, their community is in a safe place, their classroom and their teacher is somewhere they feel emotionally safe. So much of about what we talk about is specific strategies, but also the broader picture of how to build those safe and supportive relationships for kids.
So Betsey, let me come back to you, because both Sharon and Elizabeth have pointed out in their responses, you got to have resources available when people identify there's trauma. What investments do we need at the state level?
Yeah, so let me talk about two big investments that we're working on. So first, we're working on an early childhood action plan. So we want to think about a plan for the entire state to have our children be healthy, safe and nurtured, and then learning and ready to succeed. That's what we really want. So our first plan is let's put together this action plan and then have commitments across all of our agencies about how are we going to support this plan. Thinking about what is it we can put in the state budget to support all those evidence-based programs that are going on in the communities. And additionally, as part of our Medicaid program, as part of our change in our Medicaid program, we're going to be pulling as many levers to actually free up some Medicaid dollars to be able to fund some of these evidence-based programs that are on the ground, but they are not funded. So we're pulling as many levers as we can from the state to resource these really important programs.
North Carolina is in a good place, in good hands with the three of you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.